are very complex, and I don't think that there's just one simple answer to all these problems. However, I think that there is one thing that's at the root of a lot that has gone wrong about the United States. And I think that at the root of some of the most serious problems in our culture and some of the most serious problems in our churches is this idea of individualism. Now, we're going to look at a little bit what exactly is individualism, and it's not something that is always wrong. I mean, it's not like this is a sin word kind of a thing. It's not like that to be individualistic or to be, have this tendency is mean you're a bad person. It's something that is good and is bad, and I think that we have to understand what are the good sides of being an individualistic culture, what are the bad sides of it. Because the same is true that you can look at other countries. Islamic culture is the opposite. They're what's called collectivistic cultures, and that's where everything is all about your identity as part of a group. Everything is about the group that you belong to, and people don't have a real clear sense of their individual identity. And so there's strengths and weaknesses to each side. And I think what I want us to look at today is more, let's talk about individualism, what it is, and focus on how some of the weaknesses of this cultural value have had negative consequences in American society. So we're going to just go through three aspects of what individualism is, and then I want us to talk about how we see this. So the first point is that individualism is the idea that I need to make decisions in life based primarily on what is best for me. So, this is good in the sense that sometimes I'm the only one that knows what's best for me. Sometimes I'm really the only one that really knows what's going on inside of me, what I'm feeling, what my needs are, and sometimes even though everybody disagrees and everybody's against me, I just need to make a decision for myself, and that's okay. Sometimes you might say, I need to quit this job, and everybody's saying, well, what are you doing? You're crazy, that's nuts, why are you going to do this, and on and on and on. But you might know inside of you that this job, even though it's making some money, it's killing you, and you're going to go crazy, and if you go crazy, then you can't be a good husband or wife anymore. So, there's sometimes that we do need to make decisions for ourselves, but the other side of this is sometimes we do need to listen to others. Oh, I wrote that wrong. Sometimes we need to listen to others, and that's the problem. Is that somebody like myself, who is a little bit more inclined to be an individual and like to do things for myself and make things for myself and don't want to acknowledge that I need anybody else and don't want anybody else's help, just leave me alone and let me do my thing. Well, the biggest mistakes I've made in my life, and I've made some really, really big ones, I had all kinds of people telling me, David, listen, David, stop, David, think, David, please don't do this, wait. And I was just like, nope, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you think, I know what's best for me and I'm going to do my thing. And then later on I said, oh man, I wish I would have listened. I wish I would have paid attention to what they were saying. And so in my own life, brokenness has come about because I've realized that God has always put people around me that cared about me and that loved me and that were trying to help me, and I just pushed them away because I wanted to do my own thing. So let's just talk about this in very general terms. What are some examples of people making decisions on the basis of what is best for them without thinking how their actions may affect others? So you don't have to share in your own life, you can just share in your own, but yeah.
I would like to share my life.
Okay.
And because of the brokenness within my family and my dad being recovered, well, at the time he was an alcoholic / drug addict.
Okay.
And there was that, because he was the first male figure in my life as a woman.
Yeah.
There was that need of emptiness, or that there was a piece in my life I was missing as a woman.
Okay.
And so, as a result, I wound up marrying
Yeah.
should never have happened.
Okay, okay,
But when you're in search of something other than,
yeah, yeah,
you can wound up placing yourself in unhealthy environments.
yeah. And see, and I think, and you know, Bonnie as a psychologist probably has some insights on this, but when you're a needy person, sometimes you can't think about other people because your needs are so great, right?
Mhm.
You know, when you've been wounded, when you've been victimized, when you've been abandoned, then there is no, you're in a survival kind of a mode.
Yeah.
And all you're thinking about is because your own needs are so deep. I mean, am I right with that?
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can be a
Survival
psychologist.
mode.
You know?
Yeah.
And so what we can find, you know, this idea of individualism in America, a lot of it is probably due to the fact that people are wounded. And that when you're wounded and when you're hurt, you really can't think about others. You know?
And our society allows that to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because there could be wounded people within the collective.
Yeah, there could be. But so the thing is this, is you have a bunch of wounded people making decisions only on the basis of what's best for themselves. But then they're perpetuating more woundedness because they're not thinking about how their actions affect other people. You know? So maybe I'm an adult and I'm wounded and I'm hurt and I'm using drugs and I'm drinking to kind of, you know, help me forget about my problems.
Medicaid.
Yeah, I'm self-medicating, but then I'm not thinking about my wife that needs me, and I'm not thinking about my kids that need me. So being so focused on what's best for me, I'm neglecting my responsibility towards other people. Okay? Yeah, Joe.
I was just sitting there, you know, while everybody was talking, I was looking at, you know, individualism, and in the middle of that word is divide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there looking
Yeah.
at that and was like,
Yeah.
but it,
Yeah.
you know, I'm the same way. I consider myself an individual. You know, it's like when you know, give your life to the Lord, it's an individual decision, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm just sitting there and it's just like, I was like, look, you know, and I see that we do that a lot. Somebody don't do something that we like, we cut ourselves off, or we divide them, you know, divide our time with them, or we divide them out of our life, or, oh, so you ain't coming to Christ, so I can't even talk to you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, not saying we all do that. I'm guilty of it myself. I've done it. You don't want to walk the way I'm walking. I can't really, you know, associate, you know, myself with you, you know what I'm saying? But that, you know, it just hit me right now that, you know, while we sitting there talking about it, in the middle of that word is divide. So.
You know, one of the things that I in Latin America that I've noticed a lot, and I noticed this in Mexico, and I've seen this in Colombia and things like that, that there's no, I'll focus on Colombia. There's no shame in Colombia for being a narco trafficker. You know, I'm not talking like a street dealer. I'm talking more, you know, cartel, big, you know, narco traficante kind of guys. They're very respected in the culture. They're very respected because they're considered, wow, you're a good businessman and you're a smart guy, and you know, and so they become very wealthy. A lot of them become very wealthy, and that's okay. The only time that they then kind of lose respect in the culture is if they get caught. They get put in jail and people don't respect them anymore. But as long as they're not caught and they're wealthy and they're doing well. So Lucy was just telling me that in, what did you say that in Mexico?
Well, yeah,
kids
well,
were
at least in
lucky?
the city that I am, I'm from Culiacan, is one of the, you know, biggest cities for narco trafficking. So, down there, you know, the kids, when they play to be a drug cartel. You know, they want to be like them because they have fancy, you know, trucks, and they have money, and they have girls, and they have, so the successful that they see in their personal life is that. At least, you know, but they say that, you know, as much as a person could be like that is 10 years. Or they've been caught, or they've been killed, or somebody else, you know, be over them. So, but they didn't see that, they want to be like that. So imagine, you know, all the, you know, in their minds, what do they want to be? They don't want to be doctor, they don't want to be lawyer, they don't want to be,